Man, where's our Chief fan at? Where's
I
the
know.
where's our Chiefs dude? Tech, Joe, Paul, where you at? No, man, we just wanted to jump on real quick and just talk about a little bit about the Super Bowl, our impressions of the game. Just talk about what we thought of the game, from the commercials to what we ate, or the company we spent with, even the halftime show. Just want to get on here and just talk about it a little bit, about the pretty kind of historic game that we witnessed today. Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl 57. Jake, how was your Super Bowl experience today, Super Sunday?
So I went down. My little side hustle I have is I work downtown at one of the bars, and although I haven't worked there like we've talked about in about a month or so, things have been slow.
Mhm.
But we all got together at the bar, and there's a bunch of TVs up there, and bringing catered food, and it's just kind of a little celebration, hangout time for all of the bar staff and some of the regulars that come down there. And so everybody was there, and it was just fun atmosphere. Everybody was kind of excited. I don't think there was really too many Kansas City or Eagles fans there, so everybody was just kind of picking their sides. Some people had some money on the line, had some bets going.
Hmm.
But there was wings. We had some I think Chipotle catered in, and pizza.
Oh,
So it was good.
that's a nice little spread.
Yeah, and I got there a little late. I got there in the middle of the first quarter, and then I left after the halftime show because I wanted to see Riri. And I was actually, I think there's going to be some news coming out where looks like, I don't want to assume in this day and age, but looks like maybe possibly I saw some things online where Riri might be having or be expecting another child, and
Hmm.
so she was able to to perform coming down from as high up as she was, and do all that dancing. And I thought it was a pretty good halftime show. What do you think?
Yeah, it was cool, man. It was a very unique. You know, Now all the memes are coming out about everything, but yeah, it was really cool. They had like these terraces that were like flying up in the air, right?
Yeah, it looked like flying saucers, huh?
Yeah, it was a very, very unique show. And what's really cool about this Super Bowl halftime show was that there was a Samoan choreographer by the name of Paris Goebel, who we hope to one day be able to get on the show and talk to her and pick her brain. But Paris Goebel was instrumental in this Super Bowl halftime show this year with Riri. If you go to Instagram, Paris Goebel, you'll be able to see some of the stuff that she shared from behind the scenes and stuff like this. But very interesting. She choreographed the whole thing. I know she probably worked with several other people to come up with the design and everything. But yeah, I thought it was cool, man. And talking about Riri, yeah, I guess there's buzz going around on Twitter sphere and all of social media that I guess beforehand they were asking her, or she had made a comment like there would be a special guest, right? Um, Performing in the Super Bowl, and maybe this could have been the like the announcement that the special guest was her, that she was with child.
Wow. Quite the special guest there.
Yeah, yeah, but it was very unique. I
Yeah.
actually I took the time, I recorded the Super Bowl halftime show on my phone, so I was just watching and recording on the same time. But yeah, very unique show. What were your some of the your what were some of your thoughts on the Super Bowl halftime show this year? Let us know what you thought of it. But yeah, there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of firsts, right? We talked about it in other podcasts, but pretty historic Super Bowl for first time. Two black quarterbacks went head to head. Starting quarterbacks. Um, Man, a bunch of firsts. I think there was a first female coach to coach in the Super Bowl. I think she was on the Philadelphia Eagles side. Um, but yeah, as far as what I did, I pretty much just watched the game by myself. I had a chance to go mingle and be with friends and family, but man, I just I just gotten off work, so I thought I'd just come and
Kick back.
relax and yeah, kick back and watch the game and not have any loudness. I really wanted to to really get to see and watch and hear the commercials, and also the halftime show. I was really looking forward to that. So I thought I would just chillax this year and just
Speaking
chill.
of that, did you know? I just found this out too, which I
Mhm.
feel like I can't believe I didn't know this,
What's up?
but they don't. So whoever performs on the Super Bowl halftime, they don't get paid.
Put that on some for real.
Yeah, the NFL doesn't pay them. They
Hmm.
give them essentially a budget to pay for their dancers and the stuff they bring in and all that, but they don't they don't technically pay, and they didn't even pay the dancers at first until I guess some of the contracts got leaked before, and then so they pay them like a minimum $15 per hour. Some of the dancers that come in and do it, but yeah, Rihanna doesn't get any money because what they'll do, and I guess why they've convinced like Prince and some of the others to come in is typically they have a huge uptick in if they're on tour selling tickets or there's or the albums will be bought or downloaded now. So there's usually a huge increase in sales on their end, but that's still kind of messed up, right? It's like the NFL is knows they don't have to pay somebody that big, and so they won't do it. Um, just because the I guess the clout that it'll bring for the importance of everybody seeing you during the Super Bowl, all the eyeballs on you. What are your thoughts about that?
Mm, I can see how they can leverage that for their advantage. I can see how that can make sense. And it is considered to be one of the biggest stages of the in the world. One of the biggest events in the world besides like the FIFA World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's probably second to the FIFA World Cup. But yeah, I can see how they can leverage that to their advantage, especially all the money and revenue generated for just the commercial ads, right? Those 30-second, 40-second spots.
Right.
But yeah, that's an interesting tip. I never knew that. When did they start
Yeah.
doing that? I wonder.
I know I read it on Twitter. Like
Hmm.
while I was like watching the game, I like to follow my phone on Twitter, just the commentary when
Hmm.
people are looking at calls and replays and stuff. I follow and somebody had posted it in there, and I read it real quick, and I was like, that does not sound right to
Hmm.
me that they could get away without paying. But I guess the NFL is going to do what the NFL is going to do on these things. It's not a good look. I would just say this: it's not a good look
Hmm.
that you're not paying artists to come in, especially with the NFL wanting image to be everything for them. You can get into like how little the cheerleaders make too, uh,
Sheesh,
on,
don't.
on the
Hmm.
on the teams as well. Like there's some things I think that need to be corrected uh, when it comes to how they're paying some of these people.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's not get into their pay. And you know what? The funny thing is too is like the NFL, they are a private foundation. They're a 501(c). They're a nonprofit organization. So maybe they could use that too in part of their play, but shoot, you know, they could at least find like some promo or what is it? Not donations maybe or sponsors. That's it. Maybe they can get paid. Maybe the artists and the performers can get paid from sponsors. Maybe they can implement that instead of like having the NFL write a fat check, which and that essentially is just a write off for them anyways. But Roger Goodsell or Goodell, whatever your name is, you and your committee, you guys got to do better. Sheesh. See all those dancers? They went from end zone to end zone. They covered the whole field with performers.
I wonder how they finagled that one. How they're a nonprofit. Are you sure
Yeah, they're a
that they
non-profit
are?
organization, brother. So is the NBA.
How they finagle that one?
Oh yeah, they fandangled that one, bro.
My
Yep,
goodness.
private foundation. Yes, they are. I know the NFL for a fact is a private foundation. The NBA, I'm not so sure, but I believe they are as well. But yeah, man, where's our? Do we need to call our Chiefs fans to come in here? They're probably still celebrating. Tech, our brother Tech, Joe, Paul.
Right? Hey, intervention. Are you okay?
Yeah, man. Jalen Hurts played lights out. I thought he had a great game. Besides, the little mishap he had, fumble that he had for a scoop and score. Other than that, I
Right.
thought
That
he, you know what I'm saying? He
he
was
played
solid,
well.
bro. Yeah, played really well.
What do you think about the officiating?
Mm, I don't know. I wasn't really, if it was one of my teams, I'd probably be a little bit more concerned. If it was Chicago, if it was the Chicago Bears playing, I don't know. Some of the calls, mm, I thought they were okay. I didn't think there was anything huge or taboo that I seen from the game, from what I can recall. But maybe that holding call that kind of changed the outcome. That holding call on Juju Smith Schuster. Shout out to him, our half black, half Samoan brother who just won his first Super Bowl title. Congratulations to
Right.
you, Juju. Maybe that call could have been, I don't know, looked at a little bit better,
A little
but
iffy.
yeah. But other than that, I thought everything was cool. I think the calls on the catches that were kind of questionable, I thought they got those right, maybe. But
Yeah, here's what the commentator said. You can like let me know what you think, but do you he's like, I see the foul there is basically what he's saying is, do you want the Super Bowl decided? You're going to give the game to the Chiefs, right? Essentially, that's what it did right there. That penalty gave the game to him. And do you want to decide the game at the end of the game on a very let's be clear, he grabbed, right? So he did grab the jersey, but it was not like I've seen worse ones not get called, right? So
absolutely,
what's your opinion on that? Us, non-biased fans, right? Or maybe we're a little biased, but uh
yeah.
but what do you want to see happen there? Do you like that call? Do you not like that call? What's your opinion?
When you look at it from that perspective, and that angle, you would like I would say let them play, let them play, let them get down. Just kind of like when you refer to basketball, when they bump, when they're bumping down there in the key, those players are going hard. They let them play. Those refs,
Especially at the
essentially,
end of the game,
especially towards the end of the game. You know what I'm saying? I don't.
in the championship game
That was a championship game too,
of the fourth
and
quarter.
right, fourth quarter. I don't know, man. Yeah, it essentially gave them the game. That call, but I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a great question, and
Yeah, if you're a Chiefs fan, do you like the call? Of course, right?
of course you're gonna love that call. You just won the
Yeah,
game on that call.
that's blatant holding. The hand in the air.
Mm-hmm. Yep, yep. And you get all the people on the opposite end doing all the Cobra Commander signs. Cobra Cobra signs, Cobra Commander.
Right.
When they put their hands on their head.
Yeah,
But yeah, very entertaining game. It went down to the wire. Um, yeah, the game. Patrick Mahomes is a stud. You cannot
definitely.
take that away from him. And he essentially, like, I don't know how Andy Reid, who's the offensive coordinator, is that on that squad on the Chiefs? Whoever that dude is, maybe it's Andy
Basically, it's
Reid.
Andy Reid,
It's
but
Andy Reid, right?
yeah, he's the main. Just from what I hear, from what I read, he's the main offensive mind when it comes to that.
Hmm.
But let's just see. We'll look at OC. All right, it's Eric Benemy. Is that how you say
Oh,
his name?
yeah, Eric Benemy. Yeah, Eric Benemy. Sometimes I think they saying Eric the enemy, but that's someone else. But yeah, I think they do a good job of utilizing Patrick Mahomes' skill talent. And if you
Right.
notice during the game, they're saying like the offensive linemen, they're trained now to block longer, right? So they can let the play develop because the more time Patrick has the ball in his hand, it's like the more dangerous they are.
He's crazy in the pocket. He's really good at extending plays. I mean, that's the difference between, and I have mixed feelings about this because I think we've talked about this before, but so his ability to extend the play exposes him to injury, but is
Mm,
insane to watch because you watch him like dive horizontal and throw it sidearm and basically behind his back between his legs. He's got all the tricks. One leg with his, with his hurt ankle, you see clearly it was still bothering him today, and he still was able to play really well. So his ability to extend that now, if we start talking, like we were talking about earlier in terms of like legacy, okay, his ability to extend the play, is that going to shorten his career to where he couldn't threaten? Because let's play the game. If he plays 20 years, can he
Mhm.
win 7 Super Bowls? Absolutely. He's that sort of talent,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
But can he play that many years? I'm just going to say no, he's not going to make it till 45 years old. So I don't know if we'll ever see that again. I don't know if we'll ever see it. Does he have enough talent? And if he has enough talent around him, let's say he can make if he can make a run a couple years in a row, I mean, he can get close. Like this is, he is, he's amazing to watch. As comparison, like look at Aaron Rodgers, man. Aaron Rodgers only ever won one Super Bowl in comparison. And they talk about him as, one of the greatest, if not the greatest thrower of the football that has ever played in the NFL, right?
Mhm.
So, but you just got to look at Mahomes is smart with the game on the line. He makes good decisions. He extends the plays. The one thing I would say is that's that double-edged sword of you extend the play and somebody hits you from behind or lands on your ankle rather than a Tom Brady or some of these other less athletic quarterbacks are throwing the ball out of bounds like 4 seconds earlier in the
Mhm.
play, right? So
Yeah.
the they avoid the injury or the season end or the few games. They avoid that because they simply don't have the athleticism to extend, so they don't have any other options, but they're also not getting hit like that. What are your
Mhm.
thoughts on that?
Yeah, it seems like the quarterbacks that are more like stay in the pocket and just, deliver the ball quickly, it seems like they have a little bit more longer career as opposed to, yeah, it's great to have that skill, like that tool in your pocket that you can maneuver and run. But the main objective of the quarterback is to deliver the ball out, right? To get it to the receivers and march down the field. I don't know. Maybe that's what I think the quarterback's supposed to do, right? But I don't know. Tom Brady was able to do that with his career, having such a long career. He wasn't a scramble dude like these young quarterbacks are able to run with their legs and use their legs. But I think it is helpful though. It's helpful for him to be that dual threat. But then, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's ever been done though. Having someone like him, um, you know, or someone like Jalen Hurts or those newer quarterbacks are coming up. I think of Joe Burrow. I look at him. I see him having more of like a Tom Brady type of career. Like he's not. He's 2 or 3 seconds or 2 seconds in the pocket and the ball's already gone. Right. It. I don't know. The wear and tear on his body won't be as bad as opposed to using your legs to advance down the field. But
Right.
I don't know, man. It's just we haven't seen that yet. We've seen people like Tom Brady and well, maybe we have seen that in the past. Maybe like people like Michael Vick.
Wow, we'll
Um,
never see another one of him. He was insane. He
mm,
was literally the cheat code on the field. I put him as much of a game changer as Barry Sanders was at running back. I don't
mm.
know if you remember watching Barry at
Oh
all.
yeah, oh
You just
yeah.
couldn't take your eyes off of either one of those players. And then the crazy speed to that any play could go into the end zone. That was Mike Vick and Barry for me.
Yeah, but and you see those people, the positions that are using their bodies and getting banged up more, they don't last as long as a quarterback that stays in the pocket and delivers the ball 1.2 seconds, 2 seconds in the pocket and gets and releases it. I don't think the gameplay of football or the NFL is designed for a longevity wise for someone that you know to use their body like that, getting beat up and thrashed like that.
Look at Cam Newton as an example.
Is he done playing? Is he retired or what's going on with him? I haven't heard anything of him.
Yeah, nobody picked him up this year. So he was a free agent and
Mm-hmm.
nobody picked him up. But you look, in his first years, he was he was MVP, I think, one year, and insane talent, not like nothing we've ever seen, but he was running quarterback and took a beating over the years and ultimately lost a lot of his ability. He ended up hurting his foot. Like I think he couldn't plant with his foot to throw
Mhm.
correctly, and I think it threw off his whole throwing motion. And he was never the same guy, right? We had him at the Patriots for a little bit over there, but
Yeah, that's right.
towards the end there, and I still loved having him. I loved his like he had that compete level 10. We like up in the Boston area, it's kind of more of a hockey term, is what your compete level.
Hmm.
Your compete level 10 is like the highest on a scale of 1 to 10.
Hmm.
So he brought that compete level in every, from what I heard, because I wasn't able to watch all these, but in every practice, every game, you saw him giving it his all. You just also saw that he wasn't playing at the level that he used to, from taking so many hits, I
Mm.
think.
Right, right. So other quarterbacks, the young quarterbacks right now, Joe Burrow, Mac Jones, Tua, you know, Jalen Hurts. Who else we got? Who's that guy that played at Oklahoma, does all the commercials? What's his name? Uh Forget his name. He's always on he's that forget his name, but out of those quarterbacks, who do you think would have a longer career wise at that position?
Whoever's going to take the less hits, and you
I,
got to you got to be successful too, right? But
mm,
some of these guys will end up being backups probably, right? Ultimately, if they can't win.
mm,
But you got to look at who's going to be protected the best. So I would say, probably Burrow. You're looking at him. Mac Jones will probably have a long career as well.
yeah.
Um,
Brock
these
Purdy.
guys,
Brock Purdy from the 49ers. Young kid.
he, he's still unknown for me. I don't know if he's going to make it because
Hmm.
we don't know. I mean, he's played 7 games. He proved, but can you have a whole off season? Can you have a whole off season and year of other teams now preparing for your skill set once they get tape on you? And then can you still perform? So we'll see. Like the second year is going to be a big question mark. And I don't even know if we're going to like looking into the UCL sprain and
Hmm.
potentially that surgery that he's got to get, he's not going to be the same next year. So now we gotta wait till another year to really see, or maybe halfway through next year. And if it's halfway through next year, is he not really understanding how the playbook works in terms of how you see it on the field? So most likely it's not even next year, it's the year after. So I think it's just an uphill climb for him. We'll see if he balls out real quick early. He's going to be special, but
Yeah.
we may not even be able to see until the year after next year.
Yeah, you made a good point right there because they're gonna finally have like some solid tape on him.
Yep.
And if he's in they're gonna break him down. They're gonna break him down
Yep.
all, especially all those defensive
Find
minded.
out his tendencies. Yep.
Hmm. And they do break those people down, like all the way down, right? They even find out where they like to go and eat and stuff. Like they seriously, if they do that level of breakdown in college, you can't just imagine what they're doing in the NFL.
Right. Right. I mean, it isn't sophomore slump for nothing, right? Because
Mm,
they have tape on you now.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So with those minds and then also, scheme changes, player changes, like every year in and out, things change. Their health can change potentially too.
Hmm.
If they're not playing totally healthy or they get some, these the guys on the other side are athletic and they are competitive and want to win too, and they're hitting hard, I'm sure, out there in the field. So
Heck yeah. Like through the season, a lot of these players, they're not playing at 100% throughout the season.
oh
They'll
yeah.
get hurt and play hurt through the whole season. Um, I remember just playing even JUCO college ball. That was the case for me. I just I can't even fathom what these dudes are going through in the
Yep.
NFL, the highest level of the gameplay. So, it just goes to show I don't know, it takes a special person to make it to that level. Um, But yeah, it was a great game overall. I thought it was good competition on both sides of the game. I thought the offensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles just manhandled Casey Kansas City's defensive line. I mean, it looked like it to me, and that's a lot of where the game is won is up front in the trenches. I just know that from Coach Will Cofield was talking about that games won up front
Yeah, Kansas City's O line played phenomenally well too because
as well. Yep.
they gave him time. So I was interested in that battle, but
Mm-hmm.
I thought, and I'll say Kansas City's D line still played really well. Although I remember we were talking about this before with the Bengals, and you know how Kansas City manhandled the offensive line of the Bengals. I thought the Bengals O line was better than that, but Kansas City manhandled them. So that it wasn't that case in this game where I gave the edge to, although they played really well. It was a good match up in general, but I do agree with you that Philly's offensive line, like when they wanted to run the ball, they ran the ball. It didn't matter. You know, it didn't matter. They got those first downs when they wanted them. So advantage O line, although Kansas City's defense still played well. Um, and then, but yeah, it was you know, Philly's defense didn't play as well as they needed to, clearly, to win. They couldn't stop KC. Couldn't
Yeah,
stop couldn't stop Kelsey
couldn't stop him. He was wide
or Juju.
or Juju.
He played really good in the second half.
Yeah, he had a lot of those catches in the second half. Was really integral in their victory.
What do you have? 9 catches, something like that.
Yeah, he went off. He went off. First half wasn't so much, but then yeah, he finished out strong. Yeah, but I guess the Philadelphia Eagles they had their supposedly they were the top pass rushers in the league this year, and they
Didn't look like that, huh?
nah, it didn't look like that at all, not at all. And I remember one of the commentators, I don't know if it was Greg Olson or the other dude, but they were saying like the game plan for Philadelphia was to get Patrick to get rid of the ball fast. And I don't think they did a good job of that because that dude was he just Mahomes. He Mahomes them. He pretty
Well,
much
and
just,
he did, but you look at it's so there was 2 touchdowns that were scored where the Kansas City offensive player was wide open.
right.
So with that second touchdown that was like that was they put it's a speedster, they put him in motion, but then he stopped and ran back, and you saw the, I think it was the safety that was lined up with him, the Philly safety. He
Hmm.
kept running. He kept running across because he lost him somehow, and then he was wide open for that second touchdown. So just like schematically they had Philly confused or unable to match up with what they were asking him to do. So that pre-snap motion was like key to that one right there, because you know he walked right in.
Yeah.
That was you know, to me, you got to be better than that at the Super Bowl. You know, that's you can't leave guys wide open. You at least got to make them miss.
Right.
And he
Jeez.
just pre-snap. Hey, was that a pre-snap broken ankle?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it was crazy, man. It was crazy. It's kind of like a game of chess tonight. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
one little move and the other person would just beat you up.
So you look at, those are the game changers to me, right? Those 2 wide open touchdowns that Kansas
Right.
City scored,
Hmm.
and Jalen losing the ball. If without those, you have it pretty lopsided in Philly's favor. But to me, you can't discount Kansas City's being there before and playing with experience and knowing what they're good at and making the most of their chances. They played with that, just that ability to will themselves to win. Because from looking at that, I'd say Philly outplayed them.
Hmm. Yeah.
Thinking about those 3 things, that swings, that's 21 points right there.
Hmm. Absolutely.
So what's the score then if they don't
Right.
score those? So, or they match up defensively better or whatever. But
Yeah.
you kind of just gave those away.
Absolutely.
21 points.
21 points. Yeah, it's crazy because KC, man, they came through. They got the nice punt return, the special teams. Really did it for them tonight, man.
Yeah.
Really did. And
Oh, you gotta throw that one too, right? Yeah. So that's a fourth mistake they made was that terrible punt.
yeah, and I guess
Made
that's been their crutch all year. I guess was special teams, and they
him.
didn't. It showed out tonight. They didn't improve that part of the game.
Mm.
But what are you saying to your players during halftime when you're down like that? Whether 10 points down, they came back. They were down.
If you're Kansas City, they're gonna say, "Hey, we've been here before. We have all these comebacks. We've come back before." So if you're Kansas City, you're fine in that
Mhm.
scenario because they know they again it's like that's like an hello my old friend
Right. They're used to it.
my old friend down 10 points that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
They were up 10 points on us the first half. Will be up 20 points on them in the second half, right? That's I'm sure something along the lines of their mindset.
I wonder if this was the first time those two teams met this season. I don't know if they've ever played each other before until the Super Bowl.
I don't remember them playing each other either
Yeah,
because
I
it's
don't think they've ever played each other,
yeah.
right? But it's I don't and also another thing I was thinking about like the Eagles, I don't think they've ever been punched in the face like this by a Mahomes type talent, right? I don't
I
think they
mean
saw someone like him at
they
all.
they 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 came from behind with in against Indianapolis,
Hmm.
and then they lost one other game, which I'm not sure which game they lost. But yeah, they right. This was the chance for them to prove that when they're truly being tested, can they win it? I would have liked to see it go to overtime. That would have been awesome to see
Yeah,
it go
man,
to
I was tripping
overtime.
at the end there when they were just, I totally forgot about the clock. I was like, why aren't they not scoring right now? Why did they just stop at the 1 yard line and go settle for the field goal? And I realized like they don't want homeboy to have the ball again, right?
Right, right.
Mm,
Although in my eyes, and of course they won, and I'm not a coach, and but in my eyes, I would take the touchdown, and it because
do you take the
it's hard.
touchdown for a moral
I
victory, or
would
do you take the touchdown for the bookies in Vegas?
I would take the touchdown in order to win because you know how hard it is to kick it off to the other team and have the other team march all the way back down the field and score a touchdown on you. So it's at that point you only need a field goal, and they managed the clock perfectly. But he could have missed. That's a lot of pressure on a kicker.
A
It's
lot of
so easy
pressure.
to. I come from a soccer background. It's easy to shank something. I know these guys are super professional. I know it's close,
Hmm.
but with that much pressure, we've seen kickers fold under that kind of pressure before. So you put all that pressure
Yeah,
when you
tell
could
me
have had
about it.
the points, and then all you're doing is kicking off, and you're going to kick it into the end zone and give them a shot at a Hail Mary, which is that Hail Mary would be just a shot to tie it up.
Hmm.
So in my eyes, I think differently. I'm sure they got their own analytics, and and clearly they won that way, to not even give them a shot. But I would have done it differently.
Yeah, yeah, I hear the reasoning behind that too. And then that last throw by Jalen at the end, like he was gonna Hail Mary it, and it looked like didn't it fall short, not even get to the 50 yard line. Yeah, that was
Fell way
a
short. It
yeah,
fell way short. His receivers outran where he threw. I don't know what if somebody tipped it or what happened to him, but
yeah,
yeah, it didn't really look like too much of a I mean it was a long shot anyways, right?
yeah. Literally, it
But
was a long shot.
he only had 8 seconds. I think
Mhm.
yeah, I think he only had 8 seconds. So it
Man,
was at that point it was tough.
yeah, that was a miracle throw. But yeah, very interesting. Did you notice any commercials that you paid attention to? Were you able to see any of those or
I
see
didn't watch
anything?
any of them.
Yeah.
I was socializing and talking
Hmm.
on my phone and stuff during the commercials. Did you notice any good ones?
Yeah, I thought there's some kind of funny ones. There was a lot of Jesus commercials this year.
Really?
Like, yeah, some Jesus ads, like Jesus loves you type ads. They were really good. They were really well
That's
done.
good.
Yeah,
You,
really well
you
done.
love to see that.
Yeah,
That's a whole lot
absolutely.
of money going into those ads.
A lot. So whoever's funding that, props and shout out to you guys for sharing Jesus more. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up.
Yeah.
But yeah, those ones stood out to me, the Jesus ones. And then
I
I think
wonder who's behind that.
yeah, there's a real feral one I thought was pretty funny. It made me laugh. And the reason why I like to pay attention to the Super Bowl commercials is to see the creative, like see how they came about and execute on an idea. I look at the camera angles, the color concepts that they're using, the script that they go by, the timing of the shots, the editing of the shots. That's when I look at commercials, I look at all that stuff. And typically commercials are used, there's a trick that TV uses and commercials use to have the viewer pay attention more, and it's to have fast cuts between frames, like have fast cuts. And the more you can get the eye to flicker, the more the individual pays attention to what they're watching. And
Hmm.
normally, commercials are like that. They're fast paced, fast cut. But Super Bowl commercials are a little bit different now. They have a more of a storyline cut.
Yeah, telling a story, right? Drawing
Right.
people in.
Mm. So that's why I love to just be my like this year. Like I love to just sit here and watch and analyze. And it's no one's bothering me or talking to me or spilling their drink or food all over me. So I really enjoyed that part this year, this Super Bowl 57. But yeah, those were the ones that stood out to me this year. What about you, Jake? What else that about Super Bowl 57 you thought was cool or interesting?
Man, would have been better if it was Patriots versus the Bears, right?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
It's and I'm spoiled, so I have got no room to complain. But
Mm,
it's always it's always hard to see your team go home. So there's that perspective to everybody else.
yeah.
You're not as invested in the game. Although I love football, so it was still fun to watch
Mm,
and do all that. But of course, you wish that your team was there. But overall, great game to watch. Halftime show was awesome, and especially with Riri again. If the rumors are true, and she's expecting, and the fact that she came down on that platform, super impressive that she was able to do all the dancing while pregnant. Like kudos to her for
mm.
for entertaining us like that. And shout out to what's the
Paris,
choreographer?
Paris Goebel, shout out to you, Sister
Yeah, shout
Goebel.
out. Right, and there was there a lot of Polynesian dancers that were in her crew as
Yeah, a
well?
lot of Polynesian dancers that who came up with her since the beginning. I knew Paris back when they used to have the MTV was it America's Best Dance Crew. You guys
Oh
ever heard of that?
wow,
You remember that
yeah,
show on
yeah,
MTV? They
yeah.
were they were called the Request Crew, and they went all the way to the finals. Then they lost to some janky dance crew. I can't remember who it was that they lost to, but I remember they were so devastated during that episode when they didn't make it through. But that's where I that's where I first they're a group out of New Zealand, right? Auckland, New Zealand, I believe.
Mhm.
But they were bad, bro. They were bad. Those girls could move and they killed it. You know what I'm saying?
So
And
that's what opened up the door for her, then, huh?
yeah, I believe so. And just from there, that group just kept growing and growing. And she actually, I didn't know, I knew this beforehand, but she actually, when J Lo was the Super Bowl halftime show, she helped choreograph that show as well. So this is not her first Super Bowl.
Wow.
Yeah, being in, but I believe this one was all her. Like she designed and came up with, the whole concept. Of course, with a solid team, probably a strong team too. But yeah, shout out to Paris, man. She's been grinding. And there was a little message that she wrote on her IG story. I screenshot that and I'm gonna share it with our IG users. But it was very inspirational, talking about how she, just have your dream and dream big and work towards your dreams. But it was very cool. I look forward to the Super Bowl just because she was involved in it, and another Pacific Island, person just repping and using their talents, man. Just very inspiring.
Yeah, that's great to see. And she's so Samoan descent,
Yeah,
right?
some Samoan. Yeah, she grew up in New Zealand. Samoan was Scottish and I believe Chinese. So, but yeah, it was very cool. I mean, there's some cool angle shots too that you use along with the pyrotechnics outside on the building. I thought that was really cool how they incorporated all that into the show. So it was really a show, man. But the platforms, bro,
Hmm.
how
That's what mesmerized me right there, that they were dancing on those platforms without like being too shaky. And did you see, you could barely see it, but you saw the cable that they're
yeah,
attached to, right? But I'm like, man, how is it so stable, and how did they make it? Because it looked
looks
like
like they're just floating there
yeah,
because the way the cables are.
right, if you know engineering and stuff like that, that's got to be very difficult to do, to
Right,
have, because any sort of rocking, like just imagine, okay, imagine if, for any of you that have been on a platform high up in the air with wind and all that kind of stuff, first of all,
right,
or you're on a boat, right, with like a, you know, the you know, the water underneath moving. So think about those two things, right? Because this is moving through air, potentially could have been windy, and everybody dancing like they're on flag
mhm,
was wild.
right. Yeah, it's crazy how they were
Yeah.
so, and just to think about how they flew those platforms. Like I worked a little bit in theater, right? A little bit in New York and Vegas, and you got to have like some special dues to rig all those platforms, like riggers, union worker rigger dudes. All they do is fly stuff in the air. So you got to probably have some of the top rigger dudes in the industry flying all those platforms. And especially if the artist, right, if she's with child right now, having being that high up, right, and with
The
child, and oof, talk about like
pressure. Don't
pressure and like
screw
hope
that one up.
making sure double and redouble checking all the wires and harnesses. Oh my gosh, that must have
Yeah,
been a nightmare to prepare for.
stressful.
Super stressful. Yeah, I
But
thought,
they did it flawlessly. It was
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, and then how the camera flew through, the little truss and the platforms that they had on the ones that were raised up. That was crazy. Super visual. A lot of memes though. A lot of, from the good, there's always going to be haters talking about it, but a lot of memes, especially
What
that
were the
one meme.
memes saying?
Well, no, there's just giving like comparisons to different like Trump, like there's a Trump rally meme going around, and they're saying that the Rihanna show was like a meme, was like a Trump show, like a Trump rally.
Really?
Well, did you see that
Uh,
one that text shared in the group chat? That's the one I'm referring to, but it was hilarious, dude. I was rolling when I seen it.
I did not see it. I'd have to scroll back and see what it was.
You know what I thought was pretty interesting too, and I didn't know, and I didn't realize he coached for Kansas City and now has a Super Bowl ring, another Super Bowl ring, is Matt Nagy, our the Chicago Bears former head coach. He, I remember he came from Kansas City. He worked with Patrick Mahomes when Pat was first drafted, and I seen him on the sideline working with Pat and the offensive staff. So that was cool. Shout out to Matt Nagy, former head football coach for the Bears.
Mhm.
Didn't know he was on the staff for KC. But yeah, it's cool seeing Andy Reid. I guess Andy Reid's like he's. What do you think he retires? There's a lot of speculation going on the post show talks, the post game coverage. They were
They
asking
asked him
him,
that.
yeah.
They asked him right when he got up there, and he's like, "Nah."
Oh, really? Well, for the
Yeah, he
trophy
kind of
ceremony.
yeah, before they got to the trophy, it was the immediate reaction, the first reaction right after the game ended, and
Oh
the
yeah,
players were hugging each other, and they went and found him and talking. They're like, "Is this your last year, first thing?" He's like, "No way." He's like he threw the question out, so who knows, but looked like he was he's like, "I'm just gonna celebrate this one right now,"
yeah.
but
Next week.
didn't he didn't look like he didn't look like he wanted to quit.
Nah, not right now. Maybe when the all the dust falls and the confetti settles, maybe he'll think about it. But the
Right.
the Kansas City Chiefs parade is next or this coming Wednesday. Yeah, this coming Wednesday, the parade in Kansas City. And I didn't know that the NFL draft is going to be held in the same place, Kansas City. I want to go, I want to attend the draft and go interview Polynesian players that will be attending the NFL draft. I really
That'd be
wanted
fun.
to, yeah, excuse me. But it's super hard to get NFL press credentials, I've noticed. So
Really?
that's one of my 300 goals. I wrote that in my book to get us official press credentials so that we can cover a Super Bowl. Because
What are the requirements? What makes it stricter?
I don't know. I had a fortunate opportunity to go to Super Bowl 50. So when I covered that, I had a, what did I have to do? Whoever applied for the credentials, they needed my photo ID, my license, um, and the organization that I worked with. And they had to have a list of all the gear that I would be using at the Super Bowl. So I think we have to establish, get a little bit more credibility as a media news source, maybe. But I don't know. There's someone that we need to meet that can open doors for us to be able to cover more NFL type events. There's a lot of Polynesian players coming up and they're playing. Like there's the ones that played today in the game. Um, Definitely want to be able to cover them and highlight them. So yeah, we'll get there, brother. Mark my words. We're gonna have NFL credential passes to cover events. Like I applied for one for this Super Bowl to go up to Arizona to cover the I think it was a Hall of Fame Star Brunch or something in Arizona,
Yeah.
and they never responded back. It's like I applied for that early too, back in what is it? Not back in it was January. Well, not that long ago, but the beginning of January.
Yeah.
But I remember when we applied for our Super Bowl credentials for Super Bowl 50 in Levi Stadium, it was like we only did it like 3 weeks out from the Super Bowl,
And you got
and
them?
and we got them. It probably helped that we were an actual news organization that worked with the for the local ABC affiliate in Sacramento.
Mm.
Probably that helps. But man, that's a goal, dude. NBA cover all the Polynesian or just anyone in the NBA. I want to cover NBA, hockey. I love hockey. We'll cover some hockey games. Cover all the sports. Major League Baseball, FIFA World Cup that's going to be held here in America in what 2 or 3 years, I think. The next World
Any
Cup is going to be here in America.
any Polynesians in hockey yet? Professional hockey?
I don't know. That's something we should research. I want to research. I'm going to reach out.
That's so fun to watch, by the way.
Dude, last year got into hockey even more. And I remember when we lived in New York, we had opportunities to go and watch the Rangers. Tickets were like $3, $4 to go watch them. But last year, I had a coworker at work. He was what's the team from Washington D.C.? You know, the Capitals.
Uh yeah.
Yeah, huge Capitals fan. And I remember the play during the playoffs last Stanley Cup. We're all getting into it because this dude he was into his in hockey. He just shared that. But you grew up with hockey all your life, right, Jake? Didn't you play hockey too?
I didn't play competitively, but we would play on the ponds like growing up. That was just part of life. My neighbor
Dang.
had
Mhm.
Yeah, my neighbor had a pond that his dad made like a pretty nice one in the back that was raised off the ground a couple of feet. So we would be checking. It was like in a forest that we cleared some of the trees. So you got checked off the side into a tree.
Oh, dang.
So we only play on ponds and stuff like that. So yeah, but that was, near and dear to everybody. Everybody loves hockey over there
Yeah, I can imagine. Hockey is
where
dope,
it's
man.
cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really really fun to watch in person. It is. I'll as much as I love I'd say I like the NFL the most, but I'd rather I have more fun watching hockey than being at an NFL game. And I guess maybe it would change if you were up close, but even with hockey seats that are kind of back up a little bit, you're still pretty up close.
Hmm.
And so it's just a lot of fun.
They had a hockey game that had a I got invited to go attend. It was some game they had up in Lake Tahoe. Some all-star game, I think.
Mm.
I didn't want to go. I just wasn't really into it, but I had a chance to go watch them. It was like some classic game or something. But I remember the ice wasn't being cold enough, and they had to wait till a certain time of the day to play, so the ice could be cold. But yeah, hockey's super. Even for me to watch it on TV is super fun. Like,
Hmm.
especially when the goalie leaves, goes out, and then there's just no one attending, or everyone's
Empty
just
net.
yeah,
Yeah.
empty net. When the goalie leaves, dude, that's when the game gets super interesting, is because
Yeah.
they're just straight attacking.
Yeah. You'll see that in soccer occasionally too, like at the end of the
Really?
game. Yeah. They'll
Oh, I
they'll
didn't
pull the
know that.
keeper out. They'll sub the keeper out. Yeah. And put
Oh,
everybody, like if you're in extra time and you're down a
mhm.
goal,
Yeah.
at the end they'll sub the goalie out and do that too.
Dang. Yeah, this year's FIFA Cup in Qatar, got to watch a lot of that too. I was really into that, man. I was asking my brother, my little brother, younger brother Yummy, he's into soccer, and I was just hitting him up, asking him, hey, who's this player? Asking him all the questions about the soccer games. But dude, I'm excited that the next World Cup is going to be here in the U.S. And you know, they have the venues picked out. I think there's L.A., San Francisco. There's going to be a venue in San Francisco, Seattle, Texas. I think Dallas, somewhere in Dallas, Boston. I think New York, maybe Miami. We got to go watch a FIFA World Cup. I'm applying for our credentials
Let's
to be
do
able
it.
to go. Yeah, I'm. We're gonna do it. We're gonna cover it, man. We go cover it, bro. Go cover Christian Pulisic. Ask him questions. Christian Ronaldo, freaking Messi, all those dudes, bro. Basically all the dudes that we collect cards for. We're gonna go ask them, go
Yeah.
cover them. But yeah, I got the bug when I went to London and covered the rugby league World Cup. That bug, bro. Ever since that, we're gonna start covering a little bit more sports. Um, that's a personal goal, but we'll see what's up. Super Bowl 57 was a great game, pretty entertaining. Um, I enjoyed it. Just hopefully this next season coming up, our teams will be in it, Jake. We'll go head to head. Patriots and
Let
the Chicago Bears.
speak it into existence.
Yeah, there you go. Especially the quarterback that we have, bro. We need to put some talent around him. Hopefully we can do that this next season. And something that I thought was cool and kind of interesting when I was watching the post game show, something that Andy Reid was telling the commentators. I think it was on the NFL Network. They were saying that Patrick, during like the second phase of off season, he brought all his receivers down to Texas, and they were working out. So by the time they got to the second phase of their off season portion, they were already running. Like all the receivers and Patrick, they were all
On the same
dialed
page.
in. Yeah,
Yep.
same page.
That's how you do it, man. When everybody else is on vacation and you're dialing in, it
Hmm.
shows. I mean, look what happened. Look at the results.
Right. 100%. 100%. You know who I want to see win a Super Bowl really bad? It's just I'm a huge fan of now, even though he went to the wrong school. Joe Burrow. I really want to see him. And you know who else? Mac Jones, bro. I want to see those dudes skyrocket, make it to the Super Bowl and win one.
I hope so too. I definitely hope so. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens next year. Some big things happening. Now that Super Bowl's over, that's what we have to look forward to is the team building aspect, how camps are going to go, and then the draft, right? So,
Hmm.
so now that'll be kind of the next focus here is who's coming up and who we're going to shoot for, how we're going to build our teams better. And that's always very exciting too.
Yeah, absolutely. You think Tech and Joe and Paul they're going to go to the parade this Wednesday?
They're in their own Zoom call, cheersing each other.
Probably, probably. Man, we're hoping to have our Kansas City Chiefs fan over here. I know if you guys listened to him any of our previous episodes, my man was doing the whole Chiefs gear, even did the Chiefs opening for him. But shout out
They're
to Tech. Congratulations to your team. You're probably
shout
listening.
out to Tech.
Yeah, shout out to your team. Shout out to Tech, Paul and Joe. Um, but yeah, man, congratulations to those dudes. Next
Congrats.
year,
Yep.
next year is going to be either Jake's team or my team. I'm gonna throw that out into the universe.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Bears or Patriots. Let's go.
Let's go. But yeah, overall, this was a great Super Bowl. I really enjoyed it. Thought some of the commercials were pretty cool, and just a shout out to both fans of each team, the Kansas City Chief fans and Philadelphia Eagle fans. Even though you didn't get the result you wanted, they still played and had a great game. But again, thank you guys for listening. Let us know your thoughts about the Super Bowl. We'd like to know that. Please leave it in the comments and in the poll section of our um, Spotify page. But yeah, this has been another episode of Jake and Notis. And on behalf of myself and Jake, guys have a great week, and we'll catch you later.